So there are a number of different things that they could do. They could go into, mostly, I find a lot of folks are building a cloud type infrastructure to be able to help reduce some of the storage costs. And when you build out a cloud infrastructure, I think a lot of folks roll their eyes when they hear the word cloud, but ultimately what businesses are really looking for is how do I lower cost and how do I actually drive innovation, right, out of my entire storage infrastructure. So a big piece of that would be to build out this agile, robust, flexible storage infrastructure whereby then you could deploy resources to a number of different constituents that want to use those resources in a very cost-effective fashion. The question I tend to get a lot is what does storage mean to cloud? What does storage mean to big data? What does storage mean to a lot of the projects that are going on within IT today? And one of the biggest projects is obviously cloud. So when folks say, you know, what do I need to be thinking about storage when I move it into a cloud infrastructure? If you look at large cloud companies, take Amazon for example, one of the biggest things that they'll tell you is if you don't have good utilization rates, one of the functions that you want to achieve from a good cloud infrastructure is the ability to lower cost. The way you lower cost is you get good utilization across all of your assets. One of the fundamental things that helps you to do that is things like heterogeneous virtualization. So you can take advantage of all of your storage assets and be able to provision 100% of them when needed and not be left with silos of unused storage space, which ends up costing you a lot more money. I think the big notion today is that I think a lot of folks truly understand the fact that storage, like servers, right? And we talk about server virtualization, we talk about storage virtualization, but a lot of the tin is becoming a lot of commodity, you know, a more and more commodity. It's actually the software that sits on top of these metal boxes that actually is driving value. So key things that are happening in the storage space are things like storage, what I call storage services, software services, virtualization, compression, technologies like deduplication, thin provisioning, tiering, right, are all helping businesses to take better advantage of the footprint that they have on the floor. At the end of the day, a lot of these businesses are trying to invest in innovation to give them a competitive advantage. Anytime I can extract more value out of that tin sitting on my floor, I get a lot of benefits from that and I can actually spend that money in other places. The way I end up doing that is by leveraging these storage services or these software services that sit on top of your storage to get the most out of it. So things like doing virtualization and getting 35% more utilization out of my capacity makes a big difference. Compressing that information in real time, getting 50 to 85% of that storage footprint back, not only allows you to utilize that new space that you've reclaimed, but it also cuts, you know, at 50% compression, you ultimately cut your dollar per gigabyte or dollar per terabyte in half. That translates into real savings that can be used for new projects to build innovation.